Gemini, welcome to your 3-month overview that is January, February, March. So the baseline I'm using for you is for all 12 signs as it concerns itself with the new year. The top line is the major arcana that corresponds with the month, such as 1. January, the Magician. 2. February, the High Priestess. 3. March, the Empress. The bottom row is the energy that is most common or prevalent at the beginning of the year, such as the Fool. What are we inclined to open up towards? Spiritually, emotionally, physically, you name it. The idea is new beginning, new chapter, fresh start, fresh eyes, heart, spirit, so on and so forth. On the end of that coin, the other side, the World, what we should be closing off in order to accommodate the Fool energy. So this is what we typically refer to as New Year's resolutions. I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to start doing that kind of thing. Very common. Sometimes it's very, very small. Sometimes it's on a large scale. I don't know. We're going to look. But yeah, that which we might close out. Now, the exception being a couple of folks have prompted renewed energy cycles with situations that they had let go of. And I think I saw that for Virgo and I think Scorpio, but we'll see. And then the Hanged Man, time out. I'm not really ready to open up or to close off. I need more perspective on different subjects here, that kind of thing. All right, let's get cracking. Show me Gemini, please, in January. Show me Gemini in January. Show me. Show me Gemini in January. Show me Gemini in January. Oh, that would be Cinnamon. And she has one of those smart feeder toys, so it's supposed to be complex, challenging. And so it's doing exactly that. It's one of the best investments I ever made, and I've had some animals. But let me tell you something. It's a very simple Kong toy, and you can fill it with treats. And what you're hearing is her trying to figure out how to get the treat. It's great. It's a great development toy. I know to you it probably sounds annoying, but to her, she's having a blast with it. But also irritated. How do I get you out? That's what she's saying. So it's great. Oh, she's been absolutely amazing. Yes, Cinnamon is awake, so expect some puppy noises, background noises, I'm aggravated with you, toy noises, that kind of thing. Okay? Show me Gemini in January. She was completely knocked out, just completely knocked out for Aquarius' message. She was asleep under my chair, and now she's like, awake. Total husky. She's such a husky. I love it. Oh, I love it. Okay. Show me Gemini in January. Show me Gemini in January. Show me Gemini in January. Come on, you. 4 of Pentacles. Tower. Huh. Page of Wands. Okay. Something's going to hit you like a ton of bricks, but in the smallest of ways. And you know what's going to be... this is my first impression. So first of all, Page of Wands, the Tower, 4 of Pentacles. Before I run away, and you know I do. Before I jump in there, that was my first impression. You're going to have one of those moments. It's super small. It's just going to be one of those moments. You're in the shower, you're in the car, you're making yourself some eggs. You know, some of you are making breakfast right now. Good morning. And you just looked up. What? You're going to have one of those super simple moments as sometime in January. You're not expecting it. You're not. And sometimes those are the best tower moments. When they're small, it's manageable, but it has a lasting impact. And those, honestly, are some of my favorite tower moments. 2 types. The ones that we say, bring it on. It's tower. I know it's tower. I'm going to face it. I love those. They're very admirable. I don't see them too often. And these are my second favorite kind of towers, really, it's just a small tic-tac of a moment, and it plants the seed, and it goes poof, later. This is going to be one of those moments. Sometime in January, you're just going to have that moment where something hits you. And it may not seem like a big deal at the time. But how it unfolds for you later, born is the idea, I need to let this go. 4 of Pentacles. That tells me you don't think about it. You haven't thought about it. Not really. Not really. But there's something here you've been holding on to, and you're like, why? And that's just Gemini. Why? And it may be something that you never really occurred to you or thought that you were holding on to. But a 4 of Pentacles, guys. In the 4 of Pentacles, and this is what's so irritating about it, is that it's a pattern. 4, we must remember, is one of the strongest patterns in history. It's the first, or history, but in, well, just everyday life. It's one of the strongest holding patterns. It creates a circle. For the first time, we see a circle with 4. And at the time, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But here's the thing with the 4 of Pentacles. The more you hold on to stuff, okay, the less opportunity you have to open your arms to things either. So 4 of Pentacles is, at the time, may not seem like a big deal. I'm holding on. I'm not doing anything with it. It's not harming me. It's not harming others. But it's not working. I'll hold on to it, see if I'll do something with it later. And we never do. We never do. And you can take that to any situation, and it can be very small. At first, it seems like it's no big deal. And then sometimes it extends itself, we realize, to something much larger later. How long have I been holding on to this exactly, and what purpose has it served me exactly? Yes, exactly. Okay, I really don't have much more on it than that, but I know it's going to be one of those lovely moments that's going to get things going for you. But here's the thing. I don't see you having puzzled over it earlier. It's something that you realize, I'm holding on to this and I don't know why. So it tells me you haven't really questioned it before. Okay? You're going to start questioning it. Something. All right. So you're going to have that little moment in January. And it's a little moment. But it should help you free up some space. All right. Anything else, please, about January? Anything else, please, about January? Anything else, please? Oh, I know, honey. You get it. You go get it. It's giving you a hard time, so you give it a hard time back. That's right. That's called the law of attraction. All right. The Chariot. The world. Oh, Justice. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can't say I'm surprised I saw this for Aquarius. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told them. At the beginning of the year, I see very common concepts. Ending things, opening up to things, being more fair, practiced, or balanced to the self. This is how I'm going to incorporate change. There are some things you're showing me an active switch. This is stuff you do know about. So here you're showing me active switch. There are some things I'm consciously keeping because they work for me. And there's other things I'm going to stop moving towards because it does not work for me. Really straightforward. This is the piece you don't know. And you know what? I tell you what, Gemini, I'm telling you right now, this is born out of your New Year's dedication. Clearly this is New Year's dedication. It's very overarching. That is, 3 majors. This is very overarching. That means it's going to apply to many of you at the start of the year. Duh. As we discussed, it's kind of a no-brainer. This is the one you didn't expect, and it will be born out of this energy. I promise you, one begets the other. The only reason this one was pointed out to me at first is because it would be the one you don't expect. And this is why we watch tarot. There's the stuff you know and the stuff you don't. I know some, you're like, I know what that is. No, you don't. Not yet, but it's small. And it's going to help you. It's going to help you. When you realize you don't need it, you let it go. It's going to help you. It may not be obvious on the upfront, but some of these, well, often, these things usually aren't that obvious on the upfront. But it will help you later when you realize what this is, how you can let it go. And again, it may not seem like a big deal at the time, but it'll have one of those rollover effects later. You'll be glad that you did. So, mind your resolutions at the beginning of the year. That's a big one. It's very normal. I honor this. Honey, I got it. Honor and respect this. I keep what keeps me balanced, and I only move forward to that honors that principle, and if it doesn't, it's out. You know, no more movement towards things that don't work and movement towards things that do. It's really straightforward, you know. Oh. Excuse the hesitation, I've got the sniffles. So I'm like, trying not to sniff too much or have a spontaneous sneeze. What is it, baby? You say hi to Gemini. Do you say hi to Gemini? Come here. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Okay, we get some treaties. We get some treaties. Okay, thank you for taking time out of your busy play schedule. I appreciate that. I took her on a break between yours and Aquarius's message, and I just now saw outside that she had, I can't say I'm surprised, that she had created this lovely pile of her favorite sticks and branches. She does the same thing with her toys in the house. She's such a little Virgo. She is such a little Virgo. I have to have things in my pile. My piles make sense to me. They may not make sense to you, but they make sense to me. And they have to be like here. I love that. She is hilarious. Okay, let's check you out in February. Show me Gemini in February. Show me Gemini in February. I'm kind of curious to see some specifics about the things you will keep and the other things you will stop moving towards. Okay. Show me Gemini in February. Show me Gemini in February. Show me Gemini in February. Let's do one more. Show me Gemini in February. Show me Gemini in February. I love that. Those are the best. Those little tiny tic-tac size moments. Those are the best. All right. Okay. 10 of Wands, 2 of Cups. Okay. And the 9 of Pentacles. I see you sometimes struggling to love yourself. Okay. There's a certain sense of responsibility attached to you. There's love attached to you. It's good love. It's healthy love. But sometimes you feel very weighed down. Show me this, please. What is this, please? You have a lovely sense of self here. 9 of Pentacles is always one of my favorites. Strong sense of self, individuation, experience. This is what I can do. Okay. But sometimes you feel weighed down in the heart, possibly between you and someone else. There's 2 of Cups here. What is this, please? Show me this. Show me this. What is this, please? King of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords. Sometimes you feel a little more alone than you like to. Okay. And I don't know why that's hitting you in February, but it is. You can't fully see it. It's not an entirely developed thought. It's not an entirely developed emotion, but it is coming through. You would like to pay it more mind. Why do you feel sometimes that you're a little separated? Because I do see you sharing love with somebody, but you say the strain comes from is that sometimes you feel a little bit more on your own than you do part of something else as a couple. Because I do see your love attached to somebody, but you're saying it's hard. It's still there. It's still in the 3D. It's still showing up, but you're saying walking that particular pathway sometimes, Christina, I'm with somebody, but sometimes I feel alone. I see a breakage here. There's some confusion regarding connectivity. So it could be that there are some plans here in February I'm not saying, but you're confused. You're showing me confusion about why we're not connecting very well in February. Now, there is, let's make this clear, and this is normal around February. I often see a lot of unnecessary, I call it unnecessary stress around February because guess why? Valentine's Day. People put a lot of expectation in that particular month. We also have birthdays in that month. We have anniversary markers in February. So typically I see more stress than I do love in February. And you're telling me something in the 3D did not connect well and you're disappointed. It hasn't happened yet, guys, but you had reason to anticipate connecting with somebody in February and it's not coming through. Or is the connection still real and valid? Yes. Are you showing me levels of I'm disappointed by this and I don't fully understand why we're not connecting? Yes. So there you go, guys. Real tarots for life. I hope that doesn't disappoint you. It's either true or it isn't. Now, guys, it may not be a love union. It could be that you're disappointed with somebody that you would call a friend or a family member and there's a connection there that you should have an emotional, smooth contract with somebody and it's not coming through very well. But I am seeing it lean more towards the personal side simply because you showed me 9 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, 10 of Wands. So there is this sense of here of union, but you often sometimes feel like you're on your own. And it's looking like it's a very specific time frame within February. You're not connecting to someone who's important to you the way that you had wanted or expected. I don't know what caused it, but I'd rather you know than not know. Okay. And there's confusion around it. You don't fully understand all the points. Okay? There's some confusion there. And you would like to sort it out. Hopefully some conversation here will help you work through this with your person. Okay? Whomever that is. Like I said, it may not be romantic, but you are showing me I feel alone in a 2-person construct. So that usually leans a little bit more to the romantic side. That usually leans a little bit more to the spousal side. Understand? But again, take it as it resonates, and some of you won't know till February. And even then you acknowledge that you're on your own and you don't know why. It's kind of like saying, why am I in a relationship? Because I feel alone at this time of year when it seems like everybody else is... Grass is always greener, guys. It's so easy to look around and see all that faux red with the really cheap, nasty ass candy and the cheap stuffed teddy bears and be like, oh, everybody's in love but me. No, no. That's why I strongly disagree with Val. I'm a highly romantic person. I love love. You know, I love the intimacy of love. I love the sexy, sexy intimacy of love. What I don't like is contrived, manipulated, or, hey, this is the day we're all supposed to love each other. That's garbage. It's bullshit. I'm sorry. You can call it cynicism, but also I know what real love is, and you don't package it for one day out of the year. So, am I surprised to see that kind of disappointment around all that stressful activity that is typically associated with February? No, not at all. Do I want that for you? No. Okay, but I think a little bit of conversation between you and your person may help, because you do seem to be confused. There are certain expectations that are not being met. You're showing me that you're trying to understand. So, you know, I don't want you to feel alone. But I also want you to be able to understand what the heck happened, because again, you're showing me confusion. Okay. All right. Let's see you in March. Show me Gemini in March. Show me. Show me Gemini in March. Show me Gemini in March. Show me Gemini in March. Show me Gemini in March, please. Cinnamon. Cinnamon. Honey. Honey. What you doing? What you doing? We might have to stop here in a moment and do some behavior correction. Perfectly normal, guys. She is a puppy. They require a great deal of it. You know, she's still in that phase where she has to learn to work around me and vice versa. And that requires constant monitoring, correction, stuff like that. It's normal. It's not a complaint. That's just real life. Okay. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune. That is very slow, extremely slow, but something has begun for you in terms of an idea in March. It will be a slow movement, let's make that clear, but it starts also out as a small investment, and the wheel has begun to turn around March. There's something, you're doing something new. It's not fast. Let's make that clear in case I didn't emphasize it. It's not fast. It's looking like the seed of an idea, but it was a long time coming. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. This was a long time coming. And as soon as you plant that seed, the wheel starts to shift and change. I don't know what you're investing in, but the energy is saying it was a long time coming. So you were always kind of headed in this direction. But yeah, you're doing some seed planting in March, honey. Let's take a look at that. What is this? What is this, please? What is this, please, for Gemini? Can I get an idea? Can we expand upon that thought, please? Can we expand upon that thought, please, in March? Okay. That's a lot to be getting on with here. Death, the Four of Wands, and Temperance. You're wondering if you can't really transform and heal a relationship here. But it's interesting. It could be, obviously, riding off the back of what you experienced in February. Cinnamon. When she hears her name like that, she knows it's just about to get real. Because I'll talk baby talk. I have no problem with that. I love baby talk. That way she knows mommy loves her. But when she hears firm mommy, oh, stops. Good. That means she's learned. Death, Four of Wands, Temperance. It's kind of like this relationship can be pushed to the edge, or it has been pushed to the edge. And the process has begun, planting that particular seed. Can it be transformed and healed? Or is this the beginning of the end? I don't know. But is this the beginning of the end? You want to know. I was hoping to see a different direction for you in terms of seed planting, if you will. And a monetary idea, a goal idea, something that was personal to you. And in this respect, it is very personal to you. It is relationship energy. some sort of Four of Wands here. And that Four of Wands, that relationship, is in between two concepts, death or healing, temperance. How you move in that direction, it was a long time coming. The seed of the idea. But it does kick things off into a particular motion. The recognition here that it could have one of two outcomes. That is correct. In this respect, absolutely, this relationship could have one of two outcomes. And I can definitely see then how it's riding off the back of February. Perhaps February is where this becomes really upfront to you. Okay. Perhaps you realize how serious this is. I don't know. It seemed to be a time frame of you showing me disappointment about the lack of connectivity. But perhaps it had a much deeper meaning to you about how problematic this has become, or how problematic this is running or has been running. Point is that now you're showing me energy that says, okay, I want to do something about it. But the outcome of wanting to do something about it says one of two possibilities. It's either over or it can be transformed and healed. We won't know, I won't know, and you won't know until that investment has more time to take and develop and grow. But the idea is there's still something here to retain, fix, or heal. Or is this headed in a particular outcome? Okay. Okay, I am sorry that it got to that place, but we have to be brave and ask ourselves these questions. We must be. We must do. I understand that February was disappointing. Okay. But perhaps that was one missed connectivity, one time too many. Because I understand that feeling, honey, that you feel like you're alone and single in what otherwise should be a two-person construct. And you are saying you are confused by the disconnectivity. Perhaps you thought this was one time too many, like I said. Or this is hitting you in a deep way that's making you realize it's time to plant this particular seed. Address this and heal it? Or could this be the beginning of the end? For those of you who are very disappointed by this reading, it either applies to you or it doesn't. You'd have to be in a relationship to understand if this is even close to you, and part of you then now would already have to be sort of restless in that relationship and have an energy like this that precedes it. So I don't want to hear, oh, it's all negative. No, it either applies to you or it doesn't. That's it. It's very specific. Your opening, I can see where it applied to many of you at one time, with the exception of this piece. But this, it's very relationship specific. Okay. So no, it's not that it's all negative. It either applies to you or it doesn't. If it doesn't at all, check here the placements. That's it. Okay? That's it. You know, real life very rarely has miracle turnarounds, guys. It takes work and the willingness to see the pathway to that work and understand that we're hurt and disappointed and we're feeling disconnected with that person we don't want to be. Okay? We plant the idea that's going to unfold over time with that Wheel of Fortune about whether or not this relationship is healable, fixable, transformative, or it's not. Your story doesn't just stop and start with January and March. It keeps going. I'm just trying to map the next couple of months, and that's if, again, it applies to you. So no, it's not that it's all negative, man. It either is or it isn't. And if you want the everything's puppy, sunshine, and rainbows, new love and no problems, that's not this channel. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. However, they are a dime a dozen on YouTube. You can throw a rock and you'll hit one, if that's what you want. Choice is yours. You have viewership participation. You don't have to watch. Okay? I do the real stuff, and my Gemini crew knows that. I should say my regular Gemini crew knows that. Okay? Alright. Show me that full energy, please. Now, I do like your operating system here at the very beginning. I do. If it's not fair, I won't keep it. If it doesn't feel correct to me, I won't keep it. If I don't have the drive for it, I won't keep it. But if it does work for me, if it does balance me, I will keep it. Very normal. Three of Swords is in the reverse. Yeah, it's like no fuss, no muss. No fuss, no muss. Don't worry about rejecting stuff that's not for you. Absolutely. Okay. Let's see that full energy, please, for you. Show me that full energy, please, for Gemini. Five of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, the Star. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If this applies to you at all, you had already been feeling this back in the fall and winter. That sometimes you feel like the compromise between you and whomever this is isn't always fair. But you want so much more for it with the Star. Okay. So you had been hoping to mend this for a while, but perhaps you didn't realize how much you wanted to mend it, or you were leaning in that direction till February. Okay. You had always wanted and hoped for so much more than just, say, cooperation and constructive building. You have much stronger hopes and dreams attached to that, and sometimes you feel like it's breaking. We would like to reapproach this in the interest of repairs, and for some reason February is really driving that home for you. There is a specific incident here, and I can't see it yet. You haven't experienced it yet. I just know it's there. And it takes you back to full energy about how you'd like to open up and get more and profit more than just, say, in the relationship. Profit more from it than just, say, constructive building. You have so much bigger dreams attached to it. Okay, in terms of reality, its security, your emotionality, and how you find yourself in it. You had dreamed it would be so much more, or you missed the dream. Okay, let's keep going. I want to see that world. I need to see this world here. Show me that world. Show me the world. Show me the world, please. Show me that world, please. Show me that world. Sometimes you think you can barely just get by with a friendly structure, and you had always hoped it would be so much more than that. I understand, honey. So I'm telling you, this is a lot of foreshadowing. This has been with you since last season, this one that we're in now, before we enter the new one. Okay. The Nine of Wands, resisting, Three of Swords, Heartbreak, Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. Yeah. There's the part of you that should be comfortable and you're not. Queen of Pentacles. The King and Queen of Pentacles are all about their personal sense of comfort zone, sense of personal accomplishment. This is my lane. This is what I do. This is what I'm known for. This is how I take care of myself. This is my quality as a person as I understand it. And somebody here, I don't think it's you. I don't think it's you. I just don't. Queen of Pentacles, Three of Swords, the Nine of Wands. Somebody here, I don't know if it's on... I wouldn't imagine this energy being on purpose. But it would explain kind of what you experienced in February. Somebody here actively resists quality comfort and care. There's a rejection surrounding this person's heart that they don't want to nurture. Not so much. Sometimes they can be cold and just blunt. Blunt. Actively rejecting warmth or nurturing. They're not as sensitive around the heart as perhaps you would like them to be. That's why I think you're showing me upsetness and disappointment around February. You find yourself feeling alone in what otherwise should be, like I said, a union. And the world is over this person. You would like that to come to an end. Their standoffishness, you know? You feel like they reject you consistently in some way, emotionally, physically, but mostly with the point of nurturing. That quality care, the softness, you know. You said you wish they would drop their defenses and be softer. But they're always, you know, kind of downplay the softness. If that's not important or they don't have time for it. The TLC. I think that's reasonable. I think what you're experiencing is real. I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not attributing blame. I'm seeing how you react to feeling alone in what looks like a couples type situation. And you don't want to feel like that. And it weighs on you. That you pretend to understand, but you don't really understand where the disconnect is coming from. And I see as somebody who has the skills, ability, and potential to love you, the situation, the way they're supposed to love themselves. They're supposed to care. The whole point of being a king and queen of pentacles is that you are prideful of your home and everyone in it. That you would care for them the same way you care for yourself. So this person's coming across as a little selfish in terms of what it is they could be doing. Showing more TLC to the home and anyone in it. And it's a little standoffish. A little selfish. A little non-contributive. I don't think they're a bad person. I think that this person is just someone who has gotten to a point where they're a little bit more on the selfish side. They tend to think about themselves first, and they don't want to share. They don't want to share that TLC, so that's why you're showing me aloneness in a time when you don't expect to be alone. Hence March. And thus that seed is born. You really want that, I don't think you want this relationship or marriage or whatever it is to be over. I think you want it to heal, but you're also saying I need them to be softer and to show more care. That would be nice. I shouldn't have to feel alone in a relationship, and I agree with you. But you are going to give it a solid opportunity to shift, change, and transform. But you also seem to recognize by March there's a clear possibility it won't. Show me that Hanged Man, please. Show me that Hanged Man. 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 Show me that Hanged Man, please. You started off like most people do, honey. This is what stays. This is what goes. This is what's correct. This isn't what's correct. This is how I'm not wasting my time, energy, and effort. I'm not going to be anybody's rescue unit anymore. My heart doesn't go in that direction anymore. Cut that off. Open up to this. Keep this going. Perfectly normal system that I see at the beginning of the year. This is interesting. That little bit of insight is going to go a long way for you later. Perhaps I'm seeing what looks like the prelude tower to this over here in March. It's a little foreshadowing. Got a lot of foreshadowing in here for you today. Let's see that Hanged Man, please. Let's see that Hanged Man. I hate doing readings like this, particularly as it pertains to the new year. I really do. If I could show you that you were getting $1 million or that your business was taking off, I would love to do that. Queen of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the particular movement, Page of Cups, you need more perspective. You have not committed to this direction here in March, but you are considering it more and more every day. You're going to need more perspective. In other words, you see the Knights of Pentacles moving in a particular direction, and it is slow on purpose. In other words, this decision to plant this seed, heal it, transform it, or end it, has just begun. And you're going to gather more perspective over time. This is not perspective overnight. This is perspective that is gathered, garnered, and understood over time. You are, though, keeping your heart open towards it as a realistic possibility. And I don't blame you. But this is going to require more attention, observation, interaction, participation over time. In other words, the results aren't back from the lab, and they're nowhere near ready to come back from the lab. I want this person to love you the way that you need to be loved. I want this person to nurture you the way that you need to be nurtured. You know, and they could very well be saying the same thing about you. There's clearly a disconnect here between activity and feeling. Okay? We said we were going to do this, you let me down, and you don't seem to think much of it. That means you don't really take into consideration my point of view or my feeling. I grant you that is a serious problem. One for which this person seems to be accustomed. It's like, I don't understand why you're upset, because it meant something to me. Well, I didn't know that. Don't you think you should have? You should know me well enough by now, right? It's kind of like that. So it creates a circular argument. And I can tell somebody's very used to rejecting those arguments, like it's no big deal. I am who I am. Not so much. And it's very normal for humans like that. The ego gets in the way, creates blockage. Fear of rejection gets in the way, which goes back to ego blockage. I ain't trying to deal with that. I ain't trying to see that. That's what I'm saying. It's coming across as a little bit selfish. because this person's busy rejecting that they're doing those things to you or the connection. When we stop seeing things from somebody else's point of view, empathy. We're not really showing much empathy to our person. We're getting used to ourselves and our own reactions, our own selfishness to kind of jump in there and shut things down so we don't really have to deal with it. It creates circular motions of selfishness, and I don't know that it's completely out. The baby's out with the bathwater. That's why we need more time for that seed to grow, to understand in either direction that healing is real and viable, or it's not. I wish I knew. You would know your person best, but it's so preliminary, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. I can't give you an outcome because you've only really started to take it as a serious concept in March. When we do your next 3-month, which will be in February, I don't know that I will tune into the same group of Geminis, but I do hope there's improvement for you. Because if I'm going to be honest with you, honey, what you're asking for is really simple. A little bit more consideration and respect on your side of the fence about what you're experiencing. Because you're right. It's really basic. What's the point of being in a relationship if you just feel like you're on your own? I agree. Completely, 100%. Okay? It's one thing when somebody, go ahead, you assume to take on the lion's share of responsibility. Okay, that usually comes down to the division between two people. That's what constitutes, one of the many things that constitutes a relationship structure. These are the agreements between you and I, 4 of Wands. Okay? So it's one thing when you assume the lion's share, like I said, of responsibility, monetary, household duties, child raising functions, whatever. It's another thing when you stop seeing insight or perspective from the other person. You know, this is what my partner's going through, and I see that and I appreciate it. You know, it starts to make that 4 Wands seem less and less worth it. Because the person we need to understand us the most, and they start showing that they understand us the least, that's a problem. So I agree with you. But I have to insist, that Page of Pentacles is so preliminary in March, I can't see the outcome yet. Neither can you. So time is attached to it in both respects of perspective and realistic investment. And I think that's a very honest assessment. It could go in either direction because theoretically, yes, this is correct. It could go in either direction. 10 of Swords, it is a possibility. I'm not saying it's not. That's exactly what you're saying. The Wheel of Fortune is here twice over that ending. We need more time. But the point is, 7 of Cups, is that you're starting to see it. You're starting to see that ending as a possibility, and perhaps some of you, in a way, given there that it's an option, you're seeing it realistically as a potential option down the road. Some of you might have started to realize, as a foreshadowing concept back here, that maybe that's a good thing. It starts out with such a small thing that I said affects you down the road. Okay. If you're well and truly ready for an ending, you don't fear it. If you're well and truly ready for healing with somebody, neither one of you fears it. You prompt it. You go at it. You work at it every day. But if somebody's idea of healing is work and a pain in their ass, then you have an answer. Because it does take 2. But it only takes one person. And I mean one person. And I mean one, because one is all you need. One person's permission is all you need for somebody to be ready for an ending. And if your partner is letting you getting prepared for an ending, they've already lost. We lose people as much as we want ourselves to lose them. Honestly, I swear to God, I wish people would understand that. You want to keep somebody, you keep them. Are they trying to keep you? And that's how you start to know if you're getting prepared for an ending. Is that person trying to keep you or not, babe? Okay. A win-win. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other Libra card. That's the other Libra card. I automatically saw win-win. There's the scales. So there's 2 per sign in this is the Moonology classically. For some reason I saw win-win. It's not a win-win. It's a new romantic cycle begins. If that's true, that is further out, more than I can see. But the idea that it's even here suggests we kind of have an idea of how this is going to go. A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. That's not for a while out. But yeah, the idea is if you're exiting one, then by all rights, you're able to enter a new further down the road. Okay. Or it could be here. Right here when I saw justice. You may not know it yet, but if you close this one out, many of you are destined for new. But that's still early. That's still very, very early. Like I said, a lot of foreshadowing here. For now, treat it like this. It's a time for healing. I agree. Okay? Take time to breathe out. As I was telling Aquarius, so long as you can breathe, you can do the next thing. You can get through the next second, you can get through the next minute, you can get through the next several minutes, the next hour, so on and so forth. Never underestimate the power of just being able to breathe. Okay? Oh my. The author, counseling, crystals, love and light. So love and light is that sense of peace within, the willingness to forgive. Okay. You need to remember to love yourself. Someone's going to put forward. Some of you have read some articles. Author. Okay. Some of you have been reading some articles about counseling. Therapy. Counseling. Okay. Please don't take offense to the word counseling. You shouldn't. I will take offense to it. That is my background, lest we forget. Only reason I say that is because I've legitimately had people complain or get offended that anybody anywhere, God forbid, need to talk about their problems to someone else, which is ludicrous. It's there for a reason. Therapy is a good thing. So, some of you have been trying to read articles about things like therapy, counseling, and then also you're trying to understand what your experience or what your partner's trying to experience. So some of you have been doing some preliminary work about what's going on with my relationship. They say this and this happens and etc. So some of you so far are in the reading stages, building your way into it, learning about counseling. Will it be applicable to you in this situation? Can you relate to it? Should you do it? That's up to you. Okay. But I can see that some of you are really probably leaning into self-help books at this time. Just kind of see if you can do your own groundwork, maybe, for yourself. Sometimes you have to go off page, guys, and go directly to the source. But if that's where you are right now, again, a lot of foreshadowing here. So I can't say I'm surprised necessarily that you're trying to look into it at your own terms. I understand. Crystals. Healing energy. Please keep that with a grain of salt. I call this a bullshit card, and I'll tell you why. I got crystals too, honey. I got crystals too, as the day is long. I got more that you can't see. They're off camera. They're all over the place. They're very, very pretty rocks. Okay. And they're expensive, pretty rocks. But you will ultimately always be the original power source. No matter how pretty or expensive your crystal or rock is, the real work comes from you. So I'm all, hey, charge those crystals by the full moon as much as you need to. Cool. But I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, buy this $300 crystal and all your problems will go away. Okay, that snake oil bullshit, I'm not a salesman. Crystals can only do so much. They help you with meditation a little bit, give you something to focus on. But no, they're not going to totally protect you from the bad stuff or whatever. Have you gotten $1 million off your green emeralds gemstone yet? Probably not. Now don't get me wrong. I've got a green gemstone too. And as far as I can tell you, it helps me with a certain flow in my work, but it's not about to give me $1 million. Okay? So crystals, I'm probably going to take this one out the deck because it is such a bullshit. But if it helps you calm down, relax, like prayer beads, something to hold on to, a talisman, a totem, whatever, and it helps, and you work on it and you work on it and you work on it. Now that actually has some basic therapeutic results, okay? People in ancient times would call them worry stones because you would go like this. And there is something to that, to the tactile experience, okay? It releases some physical energy right here. And for some people, it does help focus their thoughts, okay? But don't attribute it to any magical properties. So by all means, have a crystal or two, but don't get lost in that. There's too many people who get lost in that, and then they wonder why they're broke and they're surrounded by crystals but not people. Okay? I'm just telling you, I've seen it all. I say that, but I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot. Let's put it that way, okay? But yes, love and light, show yourself compassion, find a focal point, a focus, a talisman, but perhaps get off the author page of counseling and perhaps start pursuing a little more. If this person is not interested in couples counseling, by the way, well, I don't know that's necessarily a red flag, but it is definitely conducive to what I've seen here. I don't need to do that, and I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe you need counseling. Again, lack of empathy and insight. It's defensiveness. So that, what does that say, guys? You offer to put that forward, and the other person's not into it. Anyway, something to think about. I wish you well. I'm anxious to check in on you already for next February. J, Q, E, the infinity loop. Wishing we could find out forever. That sense of equal flow. That's the thing about the infinity loop. It's not a circle. The infinity loop is equal. It doubles back and gives. So it's an appropriate spiritual feeding system that you would associate with, perhaps, say, soulmates. It goes like this, and an equal distribution of flow, and it's perpetual, infinite. Okay? We want that more shared energy of equal love, give and take, etc. The medallion of Scorpio. You might have some Scorpio in your chart, could be connecting to one. I don't know why I'm connecting that, but, you know, for some of you, your new romantic cycle could be with Scorpio. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's there. Okay. The letter R. The medallion of a child. Some of you have a child. The turning of the leaves. A lot of foreshadowing. So a lot of this is happening now and carries over into winter with the snowflake medallion. Gecko, Aries, Leo, Sag. And then also the little spatula. It's like I said, some of you were cooking when this idea hit you. I do hope this helped you. I know it's not the easiest of reads, but it is honest. So again, I hope it helps you. Put in the comments as you see fit. Take care. Be well.